Okay. So over in this direction, that's where we're looking to go. And one other thing that comes to mind is, I know we apparently used Cadence somewhat recently, but let's take a look at his equipment here. Thought we were, maybe in the Mako, or rather not in the Mako, in the Normandy, weren't we taking a look at least his Biotic Amp, which we've now theoretically upgraded. His Omni Tool, I think we were looking at this as well, and we said tech cooldown's probably still most important for him. And when it comes to weapons, it is really just the pistol that matters for him. And, oh man, the Brawler, I mean, it does have way more heatsink capacity, but I'm not sure you really need 17. So maybe we just take the damage from the Karpov and take a somewhat significant heatsink hit. The accuracy is only slightly worse. I think that is probably still better. And then Kinetic Stabilizers, 6. Probably not the best. Weapon stability, sure. But I'm not sure I want to use frictionless materials on you, because that is quite good. Might want to save that for people who are more pure weapons users, like Ashley and Garrus and potentially Rex. Kinetic Coil is basically just an upgraded version of what you currently have equipped, though. So maybe we go for that. We'll give you more stability, 3% more stability, and 6% more damage per Kinetic Coil. Also, one will actually make this a Kinetic Coil. There we go. Okay. That's a little better. And hold on. This looks suspicious. This looks suspicious to me. We have our base coming up here. Okay, we're not far away, but this is very flat, this area here. You know what that means, right? So we'll start to this side of the base, and then we'll make our rounds. Surprised our marker didn't go away when we more or less drove right over it. Usually that does happen. Okay, now we can see the edge of the world. So now let's carry on and continue making our actual circle. But it's looking fairly empty here. So let's carry on. And so, yeah, I think we'll just go with our counterclockwise circle. And we'll see what we run into along the way. And, of course, finish back at the base. Let's actually make a point of putting this marker directly on the base in that case. And this is way better than the previous planet we were on, right? At least from a navigational standpoint. Remember, we were talking about how last time it felt like whenever we were trying to go somewhere, we'd run into humongous mountains, couldn't get anywhere. It was so slow to traverse. This time, it's almost entirely flat. Got some mountains there, but we don't, for the most part, need to go over those. So that is definitely nice by comparison. Not seeing much at the moment, though. Not seeing much at the moment. But like I said, it's flat. Too flat. We have question mark here. Why don't we deviate a bit? Head on in to grab this. Seemingly it is up here. So well, I suppose maybe I did speak too soon. We do in fact need to go up here, but even with that being said, not that bad. It's actually up here? No, it's down here. Yeah. Transmitter tower. Fuel tank? Hold on. Those fuel tanks are usually explosive. Does make me a little nervous just waltzing right on up to it. What if we preemptively explode it? What if we save in case it's a trap? Are you gonna go boom? Should I preemptively make you go boom so you don't go boom when we're standing right next to you? That might be nice. Deactivate this transmitter tower. Okay, let's see. Close the transmitter. Your comms pick up a recording of a wistful string quartet. Power the system down. Whoever lived here, they haven't been back for some time. Crates are covered with Cho's chalky dust, and the status lights of the shack indicate its atmosphere ran out long ago. Okay, so in theory, once upon a time, there might have been people here, but that was quite some time ago. Okay, so let's... I think we do want to just blow this up just to be safe. Excuse me. There we go. Just so it doesn't blow up right on top of us. It did startle me, not gonna lie. Okay, let's check this out. What do we have here? Okay, we've got what would have been a very good assault rifle if that were level 10. Probably still decent at level 9. Oh, we also get Matriarch's writings. While sifting through this pile of debris, you discovered another of Matriarch Delinaga's writings. It's in bad shape, but most of it is still intact. A bunch of loot and that as well. These are not lootable, not lootable, confirmed. Okay. Was there even anything over here by the explosive container? The fuel tank? Doesn't look like it. That's just the transmitter, and there was some stuff in here. There's a technician kit, which has energized plating and combat exoskeleton. Oh, more Matriarch's writings. Wow. Okay, it looks like someone has been living in this place. Small crate held some stale food and one of Matriarch Delinaga's writings. Still in fairly good condition, unlike the food. Oh dear. And then we have a secure wall safe. Let's break through this. Like so. And are we gonna end up getting some Matriarch Delinaga's writings here as well? Yes, we are. I was kidding, but apparently not. Apparently not a joke after all. It's not clear who owns this container, but you discovered one of Matriarch Delinaga's writings inside. It does seem as though whoever was here is a bit of a collector of sorts. Okay. So, in which case, that means I was looking at the glowy pulse of the destination marker. I was like, oh, we're here, right? No, that's where the research page was supposed to be. We didn't just do the research page, did we? No, we're up here. So, okay. Still have a ways further to go up northward. That is probably our top priority here. And we might want to go a little bit further east as well, just to make sure that we also see the edge of the map. Make sure we don't miss anything there. That's the northern edge. And there is the eastern edge starting to come into scope here. So let's just go a little bit further and confirm if there is anything that we want to check out here. No signs of any minerals yet, have there been? I don't think so. Alright. So now we'll go across the northern part. And we'll see if we run into anything here. That's, I think, what we were just looking at before. All those Matriarch's writings. At least the place where we got them. So we've already done that. Just me. I was gonna say, for a second there, it felt like Mako was going slower than usual. Maybe that was just me. Okay. Not seeing too much here either at the moment. And now we're seeing some minerals. Okay. So let's make our way back up in this direction in that case. And nab some of those real quick. Are they elevated? It looks like they might be. Up here, or are they down below? Oh, they're right here. Here we are. Wait for it. Wait for it. Still wait for it. There we go. Alright, we've successfully surveyed a small deposit of plutonium. And we are definitely, as you may have noticed, forget if I mentioned this before, we are at maximum monies now. A lot of 9s, bottom right corner. So, does mean that unfortunately, anything that would normally give us money just gives us a big fat 0. So in some ways, we'd like to... Or it might have even been worth taking another look at the Alliance Requisition Officer, seeing if he had anything else of interest for us to buy. Just get extra aggressive with buying good stuff, or moderately good stuff. Things that could, in some situations, be usable. And then just sell junk that we very much don't need. Or maybe even not sell stuff or on-the-gel things that are bad. Because, yeah... Doing fine on the monies at the moment. If anything, we'd like to be spending, not earning. Okay. Then we've got something over here, including red marker. Know anything about this? Not really. Don't see anything on our map here. At least not on our big map. There is a question mark that we did not know was going to be here. So let's see what this is all about then. What kind of enemies are we talking about here? Spy on them from afar. Looks like bipedal humans or no, mercenary snipers. Let's blast them all into smithereens. Or at least the vast majority of them. Who's left? You? Well, not for long, buddy. Not for long, but... Oh. I'm sorry. I can't let you do that. I cannot let you do that. Down they go. Okay. Looks like there's also something over here. There's a corpse that we can examine. Person must have died while attempting to salvage a crashed satellite. I mean, this crashed satellite? One that we can't do anything with, seemingly. Alright. Okay, so. Alright, let's take a look at our map here. So now we are at this. The corpse is technically the thing that got the marker. I was wondering if it's going to be the corpse or the mercenary base or something like that. I mean, I suppose the mercenaries were a little bit further down this way. But, okay. Okay, then. Let's carry on. Was there anything where the mercenaries were? It looks like it's basically just a big flat area. Not anything particularly special about it. They were just chilling. Okay, yeah, and that marker is leading us to the base, right? So I think for a second there I was kind of instinctually following that arrow, but no, just head down along the border here. Want to make sure we're not missing anything. Okay, then we have some kind of something here. That's the debris, right? Okay, straight ahead. This looks suspicious. Very large, flat area. Nothing else in it except this piece of debris, which we've encountered situations kind of like this before, where it's almost like the thing that you can loot is a bit of a trap. So I think we save here, just in case, because, well, you might remember what kind of enemies we tended to run into in those situations when we started to fight. So, will this be one of those such occasions? Or will we get off easy? Maybe about to find out. Okay, we can salvage it. Usually, if we are about to get ambushed, it happens after we do this. brace ourselves accordingly. I don't know why I went straight into that. Okay, we got high explosive grenades and frictionless materials. Any guesses? Seemingly not. Okay, so that means next we're probably looking to go, I mean, more or less towards the base, maybe slightly further south first. Yeah, maybe slightly further south. Here is the edge of the world. And I think we are getting very close to the base now. Although, bear in mind, that X you're seeing in the bottom right corner on the minimap, not showing up on this map here. That would be right here. We don't see it. I'll give you one guess what you think that is. I'll give you one guess. Let's go straight for it. What could possibly go wrong, right? It's not like it'd be, I don't know, a nest of some variety. Oh, a Thresher Maw nest of some variety. Okay, now here's something that I want to do. I've been wanting to do this for a little while.
Heading to position.
Let's get annihilated by the Thresher Maw, but fight it on foot. Because this is something that, theoretically, is possible. It will absolutely crush us if it lands on top of us, though. This is not good. We're gonna die. So, it is possible. It is possible to fight them on foot. And in fact, late game, you can actually deal more damage on foot than you can in the Mako. So I'd like to try it. Let's see. Not entirely sure. I mean, we saved right before doing the probe. Is that our most recent save? Yeah. Okay, so we'll do the probe again. Maybe we'll save right before the Thresher Maw. So at some point, at least, I'd like to try to entirely kill a Thresher Maw on foot. But what happened there was basically it popped underground, or it went underground and then popped back up directly on top of us, and we can't outrun a Thresher Maw when we're on foot. We can more or less keep pace with it when we're in the Mako. But that's just an automatic kill if it pops up directly on top of us, so I think what we would really need is to basically fight it primarily in, or at least approach it from the Mako. And, did we get... Oh, might have gotten worse stuff this time, or maybe it's the same stuff. I think we got explosive grenades either way. But, what we could potentially do is, I think most of the time when you encounter the Thresher Maws, is they're up there very briefly, when you first encounter them, and then they almost immediately duck underground. So what we might want to do is deliberately have it spawn, wait for it to duck underground, and then resurface, and then, well, while it's underground, basically like run away while we're in the Mako, and then once it pops back up and we have some distance between us and the Thresher Maw, then we try to attack it on foot. Because I'm curious to see if we can pull that off. In fact, I don't know, can you say this is a Thresher Maw? That'd be pretty cool if you could. That would make it a lot easier. So I would be interested to see. So I think now that we're out here and we've completed that encounter, why don't we save, and that encounter I mean the probe. Let's save here. That way if we do just, you know, if we do die again, then we can just reload from here. And, you know, we won't spend forever trying this out, but I'm intrigued. I want to give this a shot. And also potentially reason to make sure that, yeah, from an equipment standpoint, we're looking good here, because tech biotic protection, I think, is the most relevant. So I assume this counts as biotic ability? Tech ability? It's not a weapon ability, but I don't think damage protection is relevant. I think it's the tech/biotic, or hardening as well. So, it also can ignore shields. So, toxin resist, it is, I believe, toxic damage, so toxic resistance should be important. Hardening here, I think we've got the right skills on, or the right upgrades on. And we actually did take a hit from the projectiles when we were on foot previously, and we did not die. We only lost like maybe a quarter of our HP or something, maybe a little bit more than that. So that was an encouraging sign. But anyways, here goes nothing. It pops up, and then it's gonna drop down So let's, or shoot once maybe and then drop down. Let's let it do that. Or not. Now it goes down. Just let it do this, wait for it to pop back up, and then we'll get out. Try to fight it on foot, so we don't want it to surface right on top of us. Okay, now let's do it. So now what I want to do is I want to see if we can stasis this thing. We need to, I think, get closer. Which is kind of unfortunate. So that did miss us, actually. That did not. Do I really want to stasis you? But we seemingly cannot stasis. Okay, now this is a huge problem. Because now we're gonna die. Oh, or not. Yep. Hey, for a second there, it looked like it was behind us. Then I wasn't sure if it looked like it had overrun us. So it's like, do we? I had this moment of hesitation where I was like, do we keep on going forward and try to make it into the Mako? We might have been able to do it in time. But I started to back up because it looked like it overran us. And then once I started to double back, it surfaced on top of us. So, all right, we'll resume here. Maybe we'll just fight it in the Mako after all. But I would at some point like to try to take out a fresher maw on foot. I mean, maybe what we do here is we'll fight it primarily in the Mako, and then we'll just try to get the finishing blow on foot. But what I wanted to do, why I was running straight up to it previously, was I was curious to see if we could stasis it, and it just wasn't showing up as a valid target. But we got fairly close to it. Like, we didn't get the little reticle, basically, like we were seeing here. And so that's the... I mean, if we could stasis it, just completely freeze it, and I think we could take it out, hesitate to say easily, but... I mean, if it's frozen for our stasis lasts for over 20 seconds, that's a long time to be able to shoot at it. And I would think, at this point, I'm pretty sure we can deal more damage, as I was saying, on foot than we can in the Mako. I'm not sure how we would handle that this phase on foot anyway. So this might be for the best that we're doing this now. Especially because the Thresher Maw is quite actively trying to attack us here. That is not what we wanted. I was kind of hoping that we would just get rid of it. Now it's up. So it's almost dead. And Mako has also seen better days as well. Did we kill it? I don't think we killed it. Let's get back in before we get killed. Right, now we get back out. And now we finish it off. And we try to stasis it. I tried to stasis it. We have killed the Thresher Maw on foot. It is dead. We did deal most of the damage to it while we were still in the Mako, so... Not exactly what I was hoping for, but in some ways the deed is done. Alright, and we do, of course, have this mineral deposit as well. So we'll make sure that we grab this mercury. And by grab this mercury, I mean don't touch the mercury. It is highly toxic. But we will get it. I'm curious. I mean, those Thresher Maws are worth a lot of experience. But we're starting to get high enough up there at this point that it takes a lot of experience to actually level. We're not that close. Okay. So, however, I think we are quite close to, yes, our destination here. And the Thresher Maw, it was kind of just a challenge we were making to ourselves to try to fight that on foot. And there's probably much more nuance to doing so that I'm just not super experienced with, or I think I did. I may have fought them on foot in my first playthrough every now and again, but that was when I was playing on a soldier, and I had immunity, which I suppose, at least for the projectile attack, immunity does the basic damage protection, so it may actually not matter, since the hardening that would be relevant. But I was going to say, for that reason, maybe I was more capable of tanking it, although definitely would have at least more damage with weapons, whereas just shooting it with our pistol, maybe not the most effective way, out of curiosity. What do we have on our pistol? We had tungsten rounds, so that wasn't helping. And combat scanner, also not helping. And kinetic stabilizer, and sure, we should probably upgrade our own weapon, right? We can do that. I mean, we're probably still not the highest priority person, because there are others who can deal a lot more damage with their weapons than we can. But it would be nice. It would be kind of nice to at least have a slightly better weapon than this. Like, we could at least get a combat optics to increase the accuracy along with the detection. Probably not all that necessary with the pistol to begin with. We already have pretty good accuracy, but it is sort of a decent support option. Then Kinetic Coil, it does at least have some damage to go along with that weapon stability. We're going to be really accurate and have a really stable weapon, but it's perhaps still... Yeah, it's definitely not the highest damage option. Oh, and tell you what, let's switch to, before I forget, not tungsten. Let's go... Probably Shredder, I think. And that, of course, would have meant we would have had more damage against the Thresher Maw, because the Thresher Maw is obviously not a machine, it is organic. Anything else around here? This, of course, the research base, and so, yeah, we actually, I mean, we seemingly walked straight into some of those projectiles from the Thresher Maw. I'm not sure we took any damage when we were on foot. Caden obviously did. But even with that, I suppose he's been regenerating some life. But, I was gonna say, even after taking a hit from the Thresher Maw, it's not like he's about to die. But, you know, for all I know, maybe he was an inch from death and he's just been regenerating for the past couple minutes, and so now he looks relatively okay, even though that wasn't really the case before. So, now we've got the research facility. And let's remind ourselves of what the deal is with this mission, because this one's a little tricky. So, Biotic fanatics have taken over a medical station and drugged innocent researchers to serve as human shields. You must eliminate the Biotics while minimizing innocent casualties. Minimizing innocent casualties. So, a few things I want to do here. Let's go to our options real quick, and let's see, what is this under? I think it's under gameplay, and is it? Okay, so here you'll see we have squad power usage, all. Determines which skills and talents squad members will use in combat. So if they're using all, means they will use absolutely everything they have, I think the one exception being stasis. But that means that, in theory, we could have Liara using... or Caden using Overload, which does have an area of effect and deals damage. Throw, which has, I think, a small area of effect, it definitely deals damage. Lift, which has a large area of effect and has a small amount of damage, and Singularity, which has a large area of effect. And I think when people land from it, they take a small amount of damage as well. Warp also deals a fair bit of damage and has a large AoE. And all I'm saying here, or at least what I'm getting at, is that if our friends are randomly using any and all of their abilities, then sometimes their primary target might be an enemy, but if they're using an ability that has AoE, then they could very well accidentally also hit one of the innocents in that AoE, and potentially, if we're unlucky, take them out entirely. And since we're trying to minimize the innocent casualties, that is not something we want them to do. And so that is why, when it comes to the gameplay options on the squad power usage, let's not have them use all. Let's instead only have them use defensive abilities. So that way they will protect themselves with things like Barrier, so that they don't take as much damage, but they will not use these offensive abilities unless we specifically instruct them to do so. So I'm thinking, similarly for us, we should be very careful and probably just not use Overload, Throw, Sabotage, or Lift. And Stasis is probably a good thing to have here. So, I mean, we could, suppose we could theoretically even Stasis the Innocents. As long as we don't shoot them, then that keeps them in place, so we know where they are, and then we just say, okay, stay right there, we're gonna go fight the bad guys, don't move a muscle. And then Caden stasis could also be helpful for that reason as well. So now that we've changed around that setting, let's save, because this, obviously, as you can probably guess based on the quest description, this can go really well, or this can go horribly, horribly wrong. So, of course, we will do our best to do this correctly, but, well, we'll see. Worse comes to worse. We could reload this save and give this another shot, but let's jump in. Okay, take down the terrorists, but remember to check your targets. The civilians are so addled by the drug, they'll wander right into the middle of a firefight. So you need to be very, very careful who we are attacking, because not only could we accidentally hit those innocents with our AoE powers, we could also accidentally shoot them if they walk straight in front of us as we are shooting one of the enemies, because they may very well do that. Let's also just take a quick look at specific armor here. I think, didn't we hear they are biotic fanatics? Keyword being biotics. So that may mean that we're looking for not so much the toxin resistance as much as things like physics threshold. Yeah, that means that we weigh more functionally, and so it is harder for them to, say, throw us around and what have you. So let's make sure that we at least have everyone using one of those. So we have one on right now. Aiden does not. So let's switch that. We probably want you to... shields actually might be fine in this situation. I don't think they're going to have anything to remove those, or completely ignore them. So let's switch over your kinetic buffer, this combat exoskeleton instead. I think that'll serve you better in this situation. And then Liara's already primed ready to go. She is exoskeleton and medical exoskeleton as well. Okay. Actually, what was Caden's second upgrade? It was shields. Yeah, where's he getting his life regeneration from then? We were seeing him increase his life. Even damage protection is not a terrible idea. So, we do have one more of these. Life regeneration and power reduction cooldown's not gonna matter much if we are specifically telling them don't use your power. So maybe we stick with actually it's only a level 5 ability as well. If we're gonna go with the shields, we should probably give him more than that. Should probably give him 140 rather than just 100. Alright, so now we just proceed with caution. Oh, the other thing is, hold on. Liara is currently using a shotgun with explosive rounds that blow everybody up anywhere near her designated target. Definitely switch over to your pistol, because we need to be very careful. That would have been game over right there, or at least mission failed right there. So let's make sure real quick that don't have any surprises of that regard. I am expecting them to be organics. If they are biotics, that presumably means they're either humans or some kind of alien shredder rounds. Okay, good. Kinetic Coil. Yeah, we don't have much in the way of high damage weapons here. Shredder. That might not be a terrible thing, because I think the idea here is very much slow and steady. One enemy at a time if we can. Are they going to be right in here? Or only once we start moving in further? Possibly only once we move in further. So I think we're going to want to be very careful reading the names of the things we are shooting at, and using our minimap as well to make sure we're targeting the red dots. I don't know if the innocents are going to show up as red dots or not. The other thing worth noting here is, I believe, if I remember correctly, okay, we are going to see red dots. I suppose that's to be expected, but the other thing to remember, a little bit sneaky. I don't think, I mean, it certainly doesn't show this now, but I don't think it shows you how many surviving hostages there are. It only shows you once you have killed one. Obviously, once you've killed one, kind of too late. So, for that reason, it is, you gotta be careful. Okay, let's open this door. Get their attention. Let me just double check real quick. We know we were looking at it before, and I'm fairly certain we Put them on defensive abilities. Yeah. Okay. That's worth being certain about. Okay. Person is stagnant. Got a lot more where that came from. I think we open it, then we retreat down this hallway, and what we try to do is we try to basically get the enemies to pursue us through here, and hopefully separate them out from wherever the innocents are. But that requires that we get their attention first. And I'm not sure if I trust Hayden. No, I'm actually trying to get you to go way back there. And Liara to not indiscriminately shoot people's faces off. So in the interest of not having that happen, I think one of the rare times when I will voluntarily make us be the sacrificial lamb. So there's an insane scientist. There's a good example. This guy's just chilling there. Theoretically, you can shoot him. And you can use biotic abilities, and he would be at risk of dying. But let's not do that. In fact, is he showing up as one of the red dots? He might be. He might be this closest red dot here. Got explosive containers as well. That's also very dangerous. This, I would love if they were a little more aggressive here. And now we seem to have their attention. Now we retreat. So I want them to pursue us through here. And there we go. Biotic terrorist. So that's what we're looking for. These guys. These people are safe to shoot. Alright, stasis. Numerous people. Okay, that's 3 of the terrorists down, and they all had weapons. They were definitely terrorists. They were aggressively pursuing us. There may be more coming still. That is also a terrorist. I would prefer, though, you guys kind of just leave this to us. So I'm still worried that a random one of the insane scientists goes over here and you just annihilate them. There's a guy we'd like to get. Someone else behind him who is starting to move. I'm like, if we could get you from here, that'd be great, but also don't want to hit the other scientist who's kind of close to you. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's the leader. Okay. So, let's stasis you, maybe. And shoot you in the face.
You cannot stop the future!
Except you're dead. So I think we can. At least your future. So this might even be the last guy.
Go, go, go!
Trying to get him to come out of cover a bit here. Okay. Have stasis off cooldown. That's cool. Did I get him in stasis? I did. Okay. Pretty safe to shoot you here. There's at least one more enemigo. But there are still insane scientists. Definitely plenty of scientists here. You're trying to close us down. Let's stasis you. Excuse me? Oh, did you think I was trying to target the scientists? Or you're like, excuse me? You're not allowed to do that. Near the facility, civilian losses were... Oh, did we? I think we got I think I saw something at the bottom right corner there at the very end. Saying that we killed a scientist? Evolution of humanity, huh? Those biotics didn't seem that different from the other scum you deal with. Hold on. This scientist died at the very end. So we didn't hit them. I think they might have killed that scientist with their biotic abilities. Ooh. I don't feel good about that. We did that pretty well, I felt like. And at the very end, I mean, we used stasis, so that shouldn't have been able to damage that other scientist. We just shot the other terrorist in the face. So, I mean, there shouldn't have been any stray shots hitting the scientist here. So I'm fairly darn certain that that was them, the enemies, who actually were the ones who were able to kill the scientist with their sort of stray bullets, or stray biotic abilities, AoE and what have you. So, there are still insane scientists here. This poses the question, do we reset the mission here? That, it just doesn't sit well with me. I do want to, I think, because it felt like we really did everything right there. I suppose there's a non-zero chance that at the very end, Liara or Caden might have come running up to help us out. They might have abandoned their post way back here and used one of their biotic, but they were on defensive, so they shouldn't have used any abilities within AoE that would have been capable of killing that scientist. So I'm pretty sure, one way or another, it was actually the enemies that killed the insane scientist, which wasn't really something that I was thinking about all that much, to be fair, but just feels like for us to not complete this mission the way we wanted to complete it for that reason, I don't feel good about that. So I'd like to give this another shot here, and that is, again, why we loaded, or why we saved just outside of here. Let's give this another shot. And so, yes, we'll get this morning again, and we should still have everyone on the, yes, actually that. On the defensive abilities, no, not suddenly changing the difficulty. I'm pretty sure that's what we had previously. So defensive abilities. Let's, before we proceed though, remember, very importantly, to switch Liara off of her shotgun. And I suppose, why don't we make sure that Liara's second, or her shotgun, does not have explosive rounds, just in case they say use, what is it? They overheat her weapons, and so that even if she's starting off with her pistol, that way if she switches over to her shotgun, she doesn't suddenly pull out the explosive rounds and demolish people, including the scientists. That could potentially cause problems, big problems. Okay. So I think the big thing here is that we basically just want it to be us and only us. And that's really our recipe for success. And as long as our friends stay here, then in theory, they can't cause too many problems. And that may mean things get a little tricky for us. We're having to take on all of those biotics by ourselves, but that'll be an interesting test. It's the biotic leader we took on basically single-handedly. We just stasised him, and that was that. That's, I think, our primary recipe for success. The problem is when we start getting numerous of the other biotics, the normal biotics, that could get tough when we're just purely outnumbered. So that's the same scientist we saw before. Poke our heads out. Their attention. Hello, we're here. Now they're shooting us. Thing is, we don't want them to... What the heck, Liara? Liara and Caden. Go here. Stay back there. Excuse me. Stay back here. They're just completely ignoring us. I know we're getting hit, but Liara is backing up. Caden as well. Okay, they are backing up. So now, okay, we stasis one back there. Think you're far enough away. Something here? You're actually pretty weak. That's the truth. Just a few shots we can take them out. So they aren't that tough. It's mostly just if they outnumber us, then of course it can get a little overwhelming. But if we stasis them, that certainly helps. And I think we are getting hit by those biotic abilities. But you see we're just like getting the tiniest little bump. And that's, I think, in large part because we've increased our effective weight with our armor upgrades. Caden! What the heck, man? Caden and Liara. Get back there. I think it might be once we are technically not in combat? No, we're definitely still in combat, though. Okay, so, like, this is the problem. I don't want this guy to get caught in the crossfire. Because he could. Explosive containers, obviously, could also be problematic. I don't want to be hanging out next to these scientists. Okay, once again, Liara and Caden have broken free. And I don't like that. Stop. 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 Go back there. Hide. Go away. I don't trust you. And there you have it. So, Liara and Caden come in, and as soon as they do, researchers kill. As you can see in the bottom right corner. So, that is the problem. More so than anything else. The problem is Caden and Liara, as soon as they poke their heads in here, cause way more trouble than they are worth. So, well, there you have it. They've, at least that time, I do believe they were the problem. I mean, there's a chance that, again, it was, one of the insane scientists got in between us and one of the terrorists, and so they got shot by the terrorists. Or it could have happened that terrorists started shooting at Liara or Caden, and the biotics were in the middle, or the scientists were in the middle that way. But again, either way, you know, whether it's Caden and Liara shooting or just giving more targets for the biotics to shoot at and potentially catch the scientists in the crossfire, there's basically no good that comes from Caden and Liara being here. So, I mean, if we could, it would be great if we could actually go in this spot by ourselves. Unfortunately, we can't. And that is why I was saying before, this is actually a very difficult mission to do to do it properly, air quotes, is tough. And, you know, like, I'm trying to think of, if we even deliberately put a terrible weapon on them. Not sure that's gonna help much, because at this point it's not like we have much in the way of level 1 weapons, unless we, like, maybe put them on a sniper rifle. And let's make sure that Liara is not using high explosive rounds. Not really anything other than that. And let's put her on... I mean, we could even potentially justify putting them on snipers. They are using the starting sniper. Neither of them are trained on the snipers. The reason why you'd go with the sniper is theoretically, you know, you're shooting once and you're aiming at your intended target. There's much less spray, and you might be much less likely to accidentally shoot an innocent bystander. But of course, primary thing is we don't want them to move. We want them to stay right there the entire time. Not sure if that's going to work. I think they can probably go through if they want to, but I'm actually not sure. So, here we go. Try this again. Goes relatively okay when it's just us. And I just don't like where that scientist is standing, because he could theoretically get shot. There is definitely somebody behind him. Okay, now we've gotten their attention. Now we run... No, guys! Stop!
Gotta make sure that doesn't happen again.
But the terrorist is actually behind us, funnily enough. But, just like we cannot go anywhere without Liara and Caden ruining things. Go over there. I will take care of these guys. I will close the door behind you, but as you have just proven, you will open that door. Another person coming here. And maybe we don't even fight in that hallway there. We basically fight in this room here. That way we are even farther away from the colonists. Or not colonists, the it does have a lot of similarities to the Pharaohs. Oop, they're moving in now. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Stay back there. It's like anytime we finish off a wave of sorts, they seem to try to push forward. The game has tabbed out. Perhaps not the best time for the game to tab out. Yes, there's still scientists right there. There is several more terrorists over here. That's an innocent scientist. That's an innocent scientist. I just want you guys to pursue me. I can fight you back here every time we push forward. I'm not sure if these guys are pursuing us right now. Kin, what the heck? Just stay there. Just stay there. Don't do anything. Okay, I think we may not have much choice here. Okay, so this is the person who died on our most successful attempt thus far. I think caught in the crossfire. Yep, and someone killed. And it was her, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Okay, so as you can see, this mission, not easy. Not easy to do correctly. I think we'll give this one more attempt here. Try to do it, again, quote-unquote, the right way. But between Liara and Caden spoiling the show, and then just not having the terrorists come through here to pursue us and get them away from the scientists, that makes things far more complicated than what it might initially appear. Because if it were as simple as just fighting them 1v1, then that'd be much easier. And isolating them from the colonists. That's fine. Problem is, that is almost impossible to do, as you are seeing here, for all the reasons we have been discussing, despite our best efforts. So, and I mean, I'm trying to think of whether it was preferable when we had Caden and Liara on the snipers. I'm pretty sure they did not kill anyone that time. It was definitely the biotics were attacking scientists, and that's what did it. But it's the first wave is not a huge problem. Problem is, notice us? I don't think they notice us. The problem is once the first wave comes out, I think they might be maybe it's just that Caden and Liara are on a timer. Like after a certain amount of time, they will automatically try to run back to you. You guys could just like actually move. Either distance or timer, I think. Trying to get your attention. There we go. Please don't kill that scientist. That was not that long that we waited. So I'm thinking it might be distance. Because they did, Kane and Liara did come after to help us there. Okay, so okay, well that time, obviously we didn't do anything over there, but Researcher is killed. So, well. So, we can carry on with a, not having done this mission the way we wanted to. We can, I mean, in the interest of not doing this for the next 3 hours, I would probably say that at the very least, maybe if we do want to try to perfect this, then could be better for us to, say, come back on a future occasion, maybe use a different team. Although, it's not, if we can keep them back there, doing nothing, then that's not really a factor, who we have, because ideally they are just non-existent on this mission. It's just, the mechanics of it are very tough. Very, very tough. So, now we're actually getting annihilated. As you might imagine from having 4 of them just firing nonstop at us. Yeah, we might even be about to die here. This would be one occasion when actually having Liara would be helpful. Yeah, Liara, you know... Yeah, we're dead. Yeah, so I think what we do is let's give this another try later on. You know, I'm not sure strategy-wise what we can change, because I think for the most part, it's just gonna take a stroke of luck. You know, obviously for the first part, it's keep Liara, keep Caden off to the side, try to get these biotics to pour through this room like this. That most recent time, they actually did apparently kill a scientist by just either shooting their weapons and catching them in the crossfire, or using some biotics that happened to hit them rather than us. That most of the time that wasn't happening, so the first wave is not too bad. But it's then once you have to pursue the ones that hang out in the main room that are right next to the scientists, then it gets much, much harder to avoid the scientist casualties. So that's probably the part where a strategy needs the most tweaking. But I mean, for the most part, it's been poke our head in there, and as soon as the biotics notice us, or at least the second wave of biotics notice us, immediately at least one of the scientists goes down. So it's a tough one, and we'll have to see if maybe on a future occasion we can be a little bit more successful with it. But I think, at least for now, why don't we... What happens if we just resume? Just take us to... Or does it take us to? Our most recent save, basically? Yeah. So I think what we'll do, in that case, is let's head back up to the Normandy, and we'll do at least one other mission in the meantime, and maybe all it'll take will be, you know, a fresh perspective, and a clean slate. And then we'll pop in here on a new day, and we'll just, you know, we'll be ready to get the job done. But at least as of right now, it feels like we are, for whatever reason, it's not gonna, I don't know, unless we get really lucky, it feels like we're not gonna pull it off this time.